Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, April 17th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names on our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their move. As always, these videos are powered by our friends and partners over at Investors Business Daily. We're curating ideas based on their stock lists. You can get access to their lists with a link in the description of this video. So we have 5 names. Well, really, we have about 4 to 6 names we're going to look at here. It's a bit of a slim pickings video here for long setups, just given the current state of the market. But we're going to look at what we have in front of us first. This is KL. This is from IBD's list. I think I posted this chart not too long ago on Social Stream on Twitter or StockTwits. And this has been a strong leader. This is in the basic materials sector. This is a gold play. And gold, KL specifically here, really took off at the end of 2018 into 2019. I mean, it basically had a nearly 100% move in about 3 or 4 months and really didn't give you too much of an opportunity to get involved in this trend. But recently, since the beginning of March, it started to pull back here, its first sort of multi-week pullback, and it's trying to put in a higher low right now. You can see it's getting tight in here. We kind of thrust it off the 29.25 low just a week or two ago, and now we're trying to find a sort of a higher low here around $31. So KL, this is one I'm watching. This comes from IBD's list, but if it starts to break this trend line and start to resolve upward, something that would have my attention. It might still need some more time to consolidate. This could morph into a bigger sort of sideways pattern here, but KL overall, it's one that I am looking for after this 90% run up and then approximately a 20% correction off of these highs. So KL, that's number 1. And number 2 here is TME. This also comes from IBD's list. This is one we talked about back here in February, may have identified it back here in March as well, but this is a recent IPO, the Tencent Music spinoff here, and it's a little bit sloppy right now, but you can see still just the great relative strength. It's holding up, showing some particularly nice relative strength today. It's certainly not out of the woods yet, and there's lots of ways you could sort of look at this using just the prior pivot highs up here around 19.25. You can look at the more narrow sort of trend line that this is starting or trying to break from recent highs here, this most recent pullback, and then you also have kind of the highs in here around 1870 or so. So this one certainly might need some more time, but something to pay attention to. Recent IPO can certainly get moving if it starts clearing to new highs. Now, one name from my watch list is MITK. This one here is a smaller cap name, really small micro cap name. Volume's a little bit lighter, so do be aware of that. But if you kind of zoom out here and just look at the relative strength, again, you can see just a nice, strong, top-performing name. It recently broke to new or gapped to new all-time highs. Then it sort of faded off, and it's gone kind of silent here, just under $12. So price action really tight, lots of overlapping. MACD has been coming down, still in positive territory, but sort of watching the squeeze here, seeing which way this ends up breaking, looking for some range expansion and volume expansion here, ideally in MITK in the coming days and weeks. It's not ready yet, but something I'm paying attention to. That's it for the long side. The only 3, I want to go through 3 other tickers, and these are all sort of on the short side, not as actionable shorts, but just to sort of kind of carve out some of the recent developments here in the market, and particularly today, biotech breaking down from this basically year-long or year-to-date support around this $107 area. We had repeatedly found support there. We repeatedly sold off into it, and buyers basically lifted us each and every time. But you can see today that we are getting a thrust, heavy volume, 4.5% move to the downside here. It's really tough to chase this given the fact that it is already down 5 or so 6 days in a row. So not necessarily advocating that, but certainly just looking at kind of the spillover here. And if this is going to be a sustained sort of breakdown, then you may get more opportunities in the future for shorting in the biotech space. And really, it's XLV as well. This breakdown effectively started last week, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of this week, Friday's action, and then Monday's action as well, and Tuesday's action, breaking down from these series of higher lows, lower highs, tight pattern here. You can see just really extended now in its move. Really tough to chase it. Certainly got to be cautious there, but sellers very clearly in control here, and you got to wonder if this is a more sustained move we're going to see in these two areas of the market, or if this is just sort of a capitulation type of 3, 4, 5 day intense sell-off. Yet to be seen there, but something to pay attention to. And last but not least, on the wave of selling is IYR. Not as extreme as either of those markets, but again, still kind of reeking of some distribution here. Lots of down days on up volume. And you can see we got the break yesterday. We're getting some follow through today. Seems like it's kind of heading back down towards retest, say, the 83.50 area, the kind of February, March lows. We'll see if it gets there. Again, tough to chase after the magnitude of move, but these three areas of the market potentially bring you some short ideas here, looking in healthcare, biotech specifically, and then some in the IYR real estate sector. And we'll see if this just carries over to some of the other broad market sectors. That's sort of just the general sort of short idea thesis if you're tactical, if you're active, and if you're looking at some of this near-term action. So that's it from me. Only three, long ideas in this week's video, and then a few noticeable areas on the short side. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in and watching. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on the Trade Risk, thetraderisk.com/blog. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video update.